I'd like to talk today about transport. I think we had very welcome news that there would be a 90-minute fare for Dublin. This is hugely important because we know that the transition has to mean that we have a transition in our transport as well. I suppose the thing that I would raise is that I don't see why we can't have a 90-minute fare in every city around the country. We'd certainly welcome it in Galway. When you have a fare coming in from Athenry that's €6 each way, and then you also have to hop on a bus potentially. There's no kind of joined up fares across most of our cities. So I would ask the Minister and ask the Deputy Leader here to really progress this, because I think it's really important. That's what's going to make people get on board with this transition to a climate just future. We've seen that Connecting Ireland was announced a couple of weeks ago, and that will see a huge increase in public transport across the country, where now we have 53% of people who have access to buses around the country, which is actually quite low. We have a very dispersed population, to speak to what Senator Kind raised there, and that's an issue with the one-off housing. It's actually quite difficult to connect it up from a transport point of view. But with Connecting Ireland, 70% of the country will be connected, and I think that's a huge improvement and part of what we put into the programme for government. But let's not forget that cost is actually a huge contributing factor to why people choose a car instead of a bus. When you can get into a car with your children and it's cheaper, and parking is cheaper than getting on a bus, that's what stops an awful lot of people. It isn't just the fact that you don't have access. So let's address the two at the same time. And you know, I think it's something that's been brought up for years, but it really fundamentally, it's being addressed right now in Dublin, and you'd have to ask the question, when are we going to see it addressed across our cities outside of Dublin? Thanks very much.